Who's the boss, David?
Who is the boss?
Who's the boss?
Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs. Welcome back to another Doctor Who video. Today we've got quite an interesting topic to discuss. The first seed has been sown for an overarching plot thread of the Russell T Davies 2 era. In his first series, way back in 2005, we had Bad Wolf, then we had Torchwood, then we had Mr. Saxon and all that mysterious stuff, then we had the Meta Crisis and all of the stars going out, and now we have the boss. Who is the boss? Well, unless you've been living under a rock and haven't actually seen episode 1 of the 60th anniversary specials, The Star Beast, slight spoiler warning here, but Beep the Meep turns out to be this evil Meep creature from Meepdonia. That's not where they're actually from. I don't know what planet the Meeps are from. Someone tell me in the comments, because there'll be a nerd out there who knows. At the end of the latest episode, the Meep is captured. He's captured by the Wrath Warriors, who say to him, "Oh, we're going to lock you up in prison." So the Meep's being sent to prison. But before he goes, he says to the Doctor that, "Oh, my boss will be interested to hear that there's another alien on this planet with 2 hearts." Him referring to the Doctor there. So who is this mysterious boss? And is this boss in prison? Because if the Meep's being sent to prison, is he going to be able to talk to the boss there? Or is he going to send out a contact? Or is the Meep relying on the fact that he's going to escape? I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. Who is this boss? Now the immediately obvious answer is, oh well, it's the Toymaker. Like, we know that Neil Patrick Harris is playing the Toymaker, so, the boss. No. Unless David Tennant is lying, which, to be fair, he could be because promotion, keeping secrets, throwing people off the scent. But in the audio commentary for The Star Beast, David Tennant denies knowing who the boss is. But producer Phil Collinson does actually know, which suggests to me that this villain is going to be a long-term thing. It's going to be something that carries over into Ncuti Gatwa's era of the show, which begins this Christmas. Anyway, I'll play a little clip of what Tennant actually says.
Do you know what this
Yes.
means?
I do.
Oh, I don't. Still cryptic
You'll
to
get
me.
to find out with all the viewers.
Who's the boss, David?
Who is the boss?
Who's the boss?
Very, very mysterious. Now, this boss figure is something I think Doctor Who definitely needs. Like, I've been saying this for ages, and I'm kind of remaking a video that I already made but never posted here, in that it was originally going to be titled Doctor Who Needs a Thanos-type Villain, because I think that's really what the series is, like, desperately in need of. Rather than just series-long arcs and series-long villains, some big figure that can overarch all of Ncuti Gatwa's era until a big final defeat would be really, really cool. Let's say, for example, he gets name-dropped in the 60th, which we have here, the boss. Then, by the end of Ncuti's first season, maybe it's a little too marvelly, but you get a kind of post-credit scene where, let's say, a villain of the finale, I don't know, a Dalek, gets sent to this big boss, and the boss says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do evil things," and it's just a nice little tease. Then in Series 2, the Doctor's made aware of the boss. If it's a returning villain, the Doctor knows the stakes. If it's something completely new, the Doctor's terrified, and you could see this fear of the unknown. Maybe you could go down a Flux route of a villain that knows the Doctor, but the Doctor doesn't know the villain, the way they kind of did with Swarm and Azure, because that was pretty cool. Also, if we're still rolling with the Timeless Child thing, and all of the past Doctors that the Doctor can't remember, you could easily, as I say, like from Flux, bring back a villain that the Doctor fought in the past but forgot. Or you could bring in an old favourite, like, obviously we're getting the Toymaker, the Meddling Monk, things like that. And then, yeah, maybe the Series 2 finale of Ncuti, the villain breaks out of prison if he's in prison with Beep the Meep, for example, or if it's someone like Omega, he's in the antimatter universe, the villain breaks out. Then Series 3 of Ncuti Gatwa is fighting this villain, or you could go down a Harry Potter route of sort of Voldemort-esque. He's hiding in the shadows, building up an army until series 4. We know that Russell is doing at least 4 series. He's said this himself. Until series 4, where you get the final big confrontation of the Doctor and this villain, and you finally defeat them. Something like that, I think, would be brilliant, and I get the vibe that that's what they're going for with the boss. But that doesn't answer the question. The title, the thumbnail, who is the boss? Well, I've got a little list here of people I think that the boss could potentially be, and let's have a little run through them and see if I'm right. Let me know your theories in the comments down below as well. So, number 1, obviously we've got the Toymaker. This would be slightly underwhelming for the grandeur of this video because the Toymaker is almost definitely going to get defeated by the end of the 60th anniversary, otherwise that would be a little bizarre. That's not to say the Toymaker will never crop up again, but I think, 60th anniversary will see the defeat of the Toymaker, so it's probably not him. Number 2. The Master. Doctor Who's done the Master so much, haven't they? Will they build up to the Master as a massive character again? Would that just feel like a rehashing of Saxon or Missy or the Dewan Master? I think it might do, and if I'm honest, I kind of prefer the Master to be a bit of an anti-hero, so when the stakes get really high, have the Master in the show, just like in The Doctor Falls, but they're not the main antagonist. I prefer them as, like, the Doctor's reluctant, grumpy Time Lord friend who used to be really evil, but now is kind of on the side of the Doctor. Like, what they were exploring with Missy was really, really good. Now, I loved Sacha Darwin's portrayal of the Master, but I don't know, that type of Master, the insane one that Russell used to write with John Sim, I'd like something new. Someone like Charles Dance as the Master. Fair, let him play the boss. They'd have to be drastically different. Similar portrayal to Roger Delgado, I'd say. I want something more scary. I want a proper threat, and I don't know if the Master has that proper terror fear factor, but that's not to say a clever writer like Russell couldn't bring that back with a reinvention of the character. Now, the next one is the Rani. The Rani always gets thrown around, but could Jinx Monsoon, who we know is playing a big villain in Series 14, they've said a major role, but it could just be for 1 or 2 episodes, we don't know. Could Jinx Monsoon maybe be playing someone like the Rani? They haven't revealed the name of this character yet, so who knows? And the Rani has never appeared in New Who, purely classic Who. I mean, I can see why, because she's kind of just like a knockoff Missy, even though she technically came first. It is just like the classic Who female equivalent of the Master, but not as good. So maybe it's the Rani. If it is the Rani, Russell's got to completely reinvent the character, bring something new, because I'm not going to lie, in classic Who, she is quite dull. But if not the Rani, could it be the meddling monk? I don't know. I think you'd have to drastically change up the meddling monk to make them this massive, massive threat. And I know there's a lot of audio drama listeners who I think the monks are kind of anti-hero. They're not like a horrible, evil person. I mean, they never technically were, but I don't know. I'd love to see the monk because I think it's a really, really cool concept. And obviously, if you're a long-term viewer of the channel, Echo fan films, the monk is the main antagonist. But yeah, I don't know whether they do that in the actual show in the actual canon of it. It might be a bit random, especially because you've got the Toymaker back now. He's kind of like the same thing. It's like, oh, a first Doctor villain, bring them back years later. Probably not. Now, another character it could be is the War Chief from Patrick Troughton's final story, The War Games. I think they are another Time Lord, which is pretty exciting. I think you'd probably want some sort of Time Lord or regenerative being to be this big bad, because, a villain is only as good as their hero, or vice versa, whatever the saying is. You'd want someone with the knowledge, or even more knowledge than the Doctor, to face off against them. So the War Chief, I'm not going to lie, I don't know too much about. I just know, big classic Who villain. Now, everyone's been waiting for this one. It's in the thumbnail. I always say it. Omega. Omega should come back. He's such a cool villain, and I know he's kind of just a shouty guy in a mask, but the design is really funky. The history with Gallifrey that you could explore is really, really funky. trapped in an antimatter universe. Maybe the prison, I don't know, is in the antimatter universe, or Sharda, or something. I don't know. I just think it would be really, really cool to see Omega back. Now, the flip side of Omega is Sutekh. They're very, very similar characters. He is from the Pyramids of Mars, similar godlike being, mystical powers, can match the Doctor. That would be really, really cool. A godlike being like Omega or Sutekh, I'd be all here for. The other possible option for the boss is Rassilon. The last time we saw Rassilon, he was getting booted off the planet by the 12th Doctor, off Gallifrey. He was the leader there. Told, get off my planet. And then obviously Gallifrey's been destroyed, but we haven't heard from Rassilon since. Maybe Rassilon's still angry at the Doctor and he's amassing some sort of thing that would also, if this boss is a Time Lord, explain why Meep is going to say, oh look, they've got two hearts as well. I don't know, Rassilon, maybe. Then the final option for who the boss could be is suggested by the wonderful Jeremy Duncan, who voices the Cybermen perfectly in our Doctor Who fan films. But he commented this yesterday. I think that it would be fitting if the boss was another Doctor Who character who first appeared in the comics. A crime boss who was first seen in the Doctor Who magazine comic strip The Moderator, named Josiah W. Dogbolter. Very odd name, but it's a comic. We'll run with it. He is kind of like Kingpin from Spider-Man, except he's a frogman. Yeah, I could see this happening, especially because, as Jeremy pointed out, Russell lent very strongly into the comics with the Star Beast. Like, it is just a comic book adaptation, so why not keep doing that? Also, that would do the cool thing with, like, the Meep, where hardcore fans would kind of know who they are, but to a general audience, it seems like a new and fresh idea, which keeps both sides of the fandom happy. But yeah, here's a little picture of Frogman, Evil Man of Doom. Maybe he's the boss. Russell does love, like, animals being aliens, like the rhinos are the Jadoon and the cat people are cats. You know what I mean. But yeah, that does bring us to the end of this video. Let me know in the comments who you think the boss is and what you're excited for the new era of Doctor Who. Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like, comment, subscribe if you did enjoy. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.